right at home on the floor with or without the band. But I'm going to show you this band in just a second. So thanks for taking time to come in, guys. I'm live. I'm Beth Hoover over on HAPS. So HAPS is a multi-streaming platform where you can join us live. You can also comment from other platforms over onto HAPS, which is really cool. So it's multi-streaming. So let me know that you're here. Give me a high five. Give me an emoji. Say hello or let me know where you're coming in from. And I'm going to start quickly. I'm going to make this pretty fast. And I'm real passionate about helping people not only lose weight, tone the muscles, feel good about their health and, how they look, but I'm also really big on active aging and making sure that we're able to function and perform activities of daily living at ease as we age. So who in the heck isn't interested in that, right? So let me know if that kind of thing is helpful to you, because we don't want to be sedentary and end up having back problems, losing muscle mass, not being able to go throughout our activities of daily living or things that we want to do or need to do, right? And having to do them in pain or that kind of thing. So working on the backside, the glute muscles, guys and ladies, will really make a big difference in your posture, in your ability to do things as we continue to age. And honestly, most men, or a lot of men, I'm not going to say most, but a lot of men, if they do work out, sometimes they work more on the upper body and not as much the lower. So don't forget, men, don't forget those glutes, okay? So what we're going to use, ladies probably have seen this band. If you have not, it's just something I ordered on Amazon, and they're different tensions, but these bands are different from the other resistances that I've been using typically on the broadcast. And these stay a little bit more, they'll fit up on your upper thighs, right? Instead of like the other ones that are real tight and the elastic ones that roll. So this is more cloth and resistance. So these are going to be on the floor. Now, if you don't have the band, you can do these on the floor with no weight. All right. So again, what's important is we're focusing on the backside. So let's get to it. Here's the 4 exercises. You're going to start in tabletop. You're going to draw the navel in, and the knees are about hip width apart or tension on the band to start. And then with the heel to the ceiling, you're going to just push the heel up, drive the heel up to the ceiling. And if you have the band on, you're pushing against that resistance. Now, if I come down too low, I'm losing some resistance. So I can control the range of motion a little bit to keep a little more resistance here. But if you focus on pushing and driving through the heel as you're going to the ceiling, you will feel this. I'm going to do a couple more, then change sides, even if you don't have the band, okay? So this is beneficial even if you don't have the band. You might have seen this before, and it's kind of like a donkey kick, right? Some gyms have a machine where you're actually pushing the resistance against the heel and pushing up. You do have to be careful on those kind of machines. I really haven't seen as many of those around over the recent years, but you don't want to hurt your low back. I've used them before, and it doesn't take much weight, so be careful. All right, so you also want to make sure when you're doing this one, you can see I'm lifting up, but I'm not rotating too much. So just try to keep the hips square. All right, so that's exercise number 1. Who's going to try that one? So give it a try. It's not that bad. Now, the next one, we're going to roll over. Look how I'm coming carefully onto the back, and that's one thing you want to watch. I prefer for for people to sit on their hip and then go onto their side and then roll over, because too many times people are doing this kind of thing and then their back is starts to hurt, or they pull their back or something. So, you know, this is the most common way that people get down onto their back. So sometimes it's because they're not flexible enough to do it any other way, and then not practicing. It's kind of automatic to do that, so just be aware there. So next, the second exercise, we're going to come onto the heels, hands on the floor, lift up into bridge, and then push out. If you have the band, push out against the band. So lift up and then push out. Now you can do 15 to 20 repetitions of these exercises, and I recommend you do 3 sets. So it's not that bad. It's just 4 exercises, and you go through them 3 rounds. Okay, so I'm not going to do all that right now. Just giving you the basics of how these work. And again, right here in the glute, guys, the glute is your powerhouse muscle, along with, you know, even the core. So you've got to think of it as something that's part of the core, right? We want it to be strong. Okay, now the next one, we're going to roll over, and you're just going to be completely lateral. So see how I am here? Okay, so I'm going to turn back, and then you can see the band is still above the knees, and I have the foot flexed, and then I'm pushing against the resistance of the band, working the gluteus minimus, okay, and medius right in here. So we're really trying to kind of work the hip abduction. Super important for balance, posture. Okay, so I know we like to do these leg raises, ladies, right? Thinking we're going to melt this off, but we can tighten and tone, all right? So that's what we're doing. And notice I'm not coming all the way down, because see how I lose that resistance? This is not as effective. So try to keep that resistance. You're not going to get a lot of range of motion, especially this is the tight band. Okay, there's 3 different ones that came with this. Okay, last one. All right, now, of course, we have to roll over. So roll over. Let me roll around. Okay, so roll around. Here we go. And then you can bend the bottom knee. That helps you stay balanced and not really have to worry about that. And so again, you can see I'm flexing my foot. Some people like to point the heel kind of up to the ceiling and the toe down. You can do that too. But mainly, just try not to let the foot just kind of hang here like that. Try to really flex and then push against the band, keeping the core tight. And again, if you don't have the band, you're doing the leg lifts, but you're not lifting up super high, okay? Because if you lift up too high without the band, then you're going into this hip flexor too much, all right? So I was going to show that, but I'm not going to take the time. All right, exercise number 4, here we go. So we're on our back again. Make sure the band stays just above the knees. Go ahead and come onto the heels again. Flip the hands back so that you're just, you know, out of this position. So we're contributing to scapular retraction here by keeping the hands back, elbows down. And then I'm going to push my low back into the floor. You probably can't really see that because I have on this black top. But then lift up, and then we're going to do a marching bridge. Now, if having the hands back is too uncomfortable, just come here, that spine. You're still working and stretching in the glute, pulling against that band. You can do this without the band, but if you have the band on, pull against the resistance while you pull that knee into the chest. And then see how I'm on the heels. So I'm on the heels again. Band seems like it's sliding a little bit. Okay, but I still feel it for 4, 3. Stick around. We're going to do 2 stretches and 1 on the floor, okay? All right, so that's it. So you do 3 rounds of all of those exercises. Okay, so you would turn back over right now and you would go to your second set right here. Set your timer. You can do 30 seconds. You can count to 15 to 20 reps, whatever's going to work for you. And then at the end, so hang in, guys. Here's a couple of stretches to do on the floor. When you are working more isolated glute exercises, you do want to make sure you stretch, and you want to make sure you also stretch in the piriformis. So I'm going to show you a glute stretch. You're going to cross the leg, lift up, reach in between the knees, and then pull back. Okay, so I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little more. Now, if reaching in between the legs and trying to pull back is too much, you could gently grab the top of the knee and kind of pull. Sometimes people want to go like this, kind of like that. But you always want to be aware of any kind of pressure you're putting on the knee. You could also pull like this by putting the hand on the ankle and below the knee, but then this leg is kind of left to hang, okay? And then if you could do that. So either way, a strap also works if you have issues with the range of motion. And then switch to the other side so you can see from this side. Oh yeah, feels much tighter here. Much tighter on this side. You can also do this seated. I believe I've shown that before if you have been in here or watched the replay. Seated in the same position. So you just cross one leg over, not like this, but like that, okay? And then you might feel it, or you can lean into it a little bit. Okay, so hold 15 to 45 seconds, or 30 to 45 seconds, excuse me. And then let's move on to the last one, and that is the piriformis stretch. So extend one leg, tuck the knee, tuck the toe behind the knee with the knee bent, and then with the opposite arm, you place on the opposite side of the knee and kind of pull open the hip and glute and put pressure on it with your hand. One thing you don't want to do is like that, okay? So that's getting more into like a back stretch. So the problem that people have with this one is why it's difficult sometimes to get people to do it accurately is because they want to start lifting right here instead of keeping this hip down where you're exposing the piriformis muscles that are deep in the gluteus maximus. They want to start going like that because they think that's pulling more, but that's like a totally different stretch. So it's real, yeah. So right there, and then here, and then you tuck. And sometimes it's uncomfortable with the range of motion. Take a deep breath. So here I've got the hip down, and then here is where I would be like rolling over. So keeping the hip down. And trying to feel the stretch deep in those muscles. Okay, so thanks so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. Please feel free to leave comments if you are watching the replay. And remember to keep that backside strong, all right? I know it's not bikini season anymore, but it's the last quarter of the year. And, if you haven't started exercising yet, start with some stuff even at home in your living room floor, all right? Whatever you can do is better than nothing. And also, guys, it's Walktober. It's Walktober. All right, so we're going to be talking about walking and encouraging people to walk more this month. So I just remembered today that it was Walktober. So thanks so much for coming in, guys. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy Friday.